The air screamed as reality tore apart. From a wound in existence itself, a figure stumbled through, a warrior carved from war and memory. Kratos, once a destroyer of pantheons, now stood upon a crimson sea that breathed like a living nightmare. He had crossed many realms before, but none like this. The sky bled light. The stars whispered lies, and every whisper called his name. He raised his blades, still wet with the echoes of forgotten wars, and felt their weight twist. The very metal cried as if alive, struggling to resist the corruption in the air. The ground pulsed underfoot, veins of fire tracing symbols he did not know. The rage within him flared, yet here, even anger felt watched, as though something vast and unseen fed upon it. A shadow moved within the red fog. Not one being, but thousands, shapes with too many eyes, mouths that spoke in reversed words. Daemons. Kratos knew battle before he knew mercy, yet these were no mortals, no titans. These were thought-made flesh, born from madness itself. Still, he charged. The blades of chaos ignited. The warp roared back. Each swing tore through illusions and nightmares alike. For every creature he cut down, 100 rose from the wounds of space. Time bled. His past lives flashed before him. Olympus, Midgard, the boy, and the warp devoured them all. Then came a voice, calm, infinite, and cruel. A traveler from broken myths, it said. The sky folded, and from it descended a figure tall as memory itself. Armor like molten dusk, a single eye burning with knowledge beyond reason. Magnus the Red, Primarch of Sorcery. You do not belong here, warrior of echoes. Magnus's voice was not heard, but felt, a vibration in the marrow, a thought that burned. You carry the scent of forgotten realms, he said. Tell me, what dream spat you out? Kratos said nothing. His silence was defiance. The Primarch smiled. Ah, a creature of fury without a purpose. How quaint. Around them, the warp shifted, forming 1,000 faces, all of them Kratos' own, screaming, killing, dying. Kratos clenched his fists. I have no purpose but survival. Magnus extended his hand, and the storm froze mid-motion. Then you are already mine. In a blink, Kratos found himself standing in memories that were not his own. A burning city of glass, the fall of Prospero, a son betrayed by his father, a legion cursed by knowledge. This is truth, Magnus said. The price of wisdom. The visions tore through him. Kratos saw gods dying by his hand again and again. Yet here, even their deaths felt meaningless. Your strength is nothing, Magnus continued, his tone half pity, half contempt. In this realm, will shapes matter, rage is a chain. Kratos' eyes burned red. Then break me. The air cracked. The blades of chaos erupted in flame. Magnus countered with a single thought, bending space itself. The fire twisted into serpents of light, biting back at their master. Kratos roared and shattered them with raw force, lightning and blood spilling into the endless storm. The warp screamed with him, almost as if it recognized an equal. Magnus stepped closer, his single eye flaring brighter. You are not like the rest. You are a paradox. Destruction given shape, Kratos spat. I am vengeance given purpose. The Primarch tilted his head. Purpose? He gestured, and 1,000 illusions of Kratos's past selves appeared, each one holding the blades, each one dying differently. Your purpose is dust. Kratos looked upon them, upon every mistake, every death, every loss, and felt the weight of them crash like an ocean. His breathing slowed. Then dust shall fight dust, he said, and charged. Magnus met him with psychic fire, a storm of symbols that rewrote the air itself. Their clash shattered time. Lightning met thought. Fire met faith. The warp convulsed under their duel, birthing and erasing stars with every blow. For every hit Magnus landed, Kratos answered with sheer will, bleeding, breaking, but never bending. The Primarch studied him, even as he fought. You fight as if you wish to be unmade, he said. Perhaps that is your truth. Kratos slammed Magnus into the void, each strike echoing across eternity. My truth is mine to carve. The Primarch laughed, the sound like a dying choir. Then carve it here. His body burst into spectral flame, splitting into 100 versions of himself, each whispering different lies, all true. The illusions surrounded Kratos, speaking as one. You are a myth among myths. In the warp, even stories bleed. The blades ignited, brighter than ever. Then let me bleed the truth. He spun, cutting through illusions, through time, through the whispers themselves. The warp recoiled, shivering under the weight of defiance. For the first time, Magnus hesitated. The storm dimmed. Kratos stood alone amid a sea of silence. His chest heaved, his blades dripping liquid light. You cannot be real, Magnus said softly. You are belief without worship, rage without a name. Kratos met his gaze. Then name me chaos itself. Magnus floated above the broken storm, his form flickering like a dying sun. You cannot exist here. The warp bends to will, not wrath. Kratos walked forward, his chains dragging embers across the void. Then I will bend it with both. He plunged the blades into the unseen floor, and the warp howled as if something ancient had been wounded. The Primarch's composure faltered. You dare reshape the Sea of Souls? Kratos growled. I have torn realms apart. This one will be no different. From the fire beneath him, shapes emerged. Echoes of mortals who had fallen to chaos, their spirits drawn to his defiance. They rose behind him, not as slaves, but as witnesses. Magnus extended his hand, trying to control the surge. You are creating paradox. You invite the unmaking of thought. Kratos smirked. Then fought should learn pain. He pulled the chains free, and the entire plane convulsed. The warp's horizon cracked, a fracture of light that should not exist. From it poured silence. For a moment, all things, demons, echoes, lost gods, froze. The silence expanded, swallowing screams, muting eternity. Magnus stumbled back, disbelief flickering in his eye. "What are you?" Kratos answered without looking at him. "A consequence." Magnus struck, his psychic power reaching its peak. 1,000,000,000 minds screamed through him, forming a storm that could erase worlds. Kratos took the hit, his skin burning, his body breaking, but his spirit only grew heavier, denser. "You seek control," he said through blood and flame. "But I am the end of control." With one swing, Kratos shattered the illusions, slicing through the psychic storm. The warp itself recoiled, forming a vortex that devoured Magnus's constructs. "This realm feeds on belief," Magnus gasped. "Without it, you will fade." Kratos smiled, not in victory, but in exhaustion. "Then let me fade free." The blades of chaos dimmed. Their fire turned into pure white light, not burning, but cleansing. Every soul caught in the warp's web flickered, freed from endless torment. Magnus watched in awe as his own power began to unravel. "You unmade the rules," he whispered. "You tore the fabric and made it remember peace." Kratos looked around, the collapsing void. "I've killed enough gods," he said quietly. "Now I kill the need for them." The warp began folding in on itself, the sea of thought and madness reverting into something simpler: quiet. Magnus fell to one knee, his form dissolving into dust and light. "You are no man," Magnus said, his voice fading. "No weapon. You are the silence after war." Kratos turned away. "Then let the silence begin." The last thing he saw, before the void closed, was his reflection in the fading fire. Not a monster, not a savior, but a survivor. When the warp calmed, the galaxy whispered of a brief, unexplainable stillness, as if a scream had been caught mid-echo and never finished. None knew its cause, but somewhere in forgotten myth, they spoke of a warrior who entered the storm and made even chaos hesitate. His name was Kratos, the one who broke the unbreakable.